Hello everyone, welcome back to Crochet State of Mind. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this quick, easy, and simple cardigan. For this cardigan, I used 2 skeins of the Karen Blossom Cakes yarn in the color Yacht Club. This is a medium 4-weight yarn. It is a cotton blend yarn. The recommended hook size is a 5mm hook, but I am using a 6mm hook. I'm also using a darning needle, a pair of scissors, some stitch markers, and the measuring tape, as this is made to measure. So let's get started. So starting with the back panel, we're going to start with a slip knot, and this is how I create my slip knot. And then I'm going to insert my hook into that slip knot and chain 90. And that 90 is going to be the length of the cardigan. This cardigan is going to be worked in the length. So I'm going to chain 90 off camera and I will see you at the end. Keep in mind that this cardigan is worked in 5 panels, back panel, 2 front panels, and 2 sleeves. See you at the end of the foundation chain. So for row 1, we're going to insert our hook in the second chain from our hook in the back bumps. And we're going to start with a slip stitch, like so. Insert a stitch marker to indicate that this is the first stitch of the row, like so. And we're going to continue inserting slip stitches to create a 3-inch ribbing. So we're going to insert 12 slip stitches. So this is our third slip stitch. And we're going to keep doing this until we have 12 slip stitches. So we're at the end of our ribbing length and we have our 12 slip stitches, which I'm going to mark with a stitch marker. And now we're going to continue with 77 half double crochet stitches in the back bump again. So we're continuing to insert into the back bumps of the foundation chain. And here we're doing half double crochets. So our first 12 stitches are slip stitches and the remaining 77 are half double crochet stitches. We've completed row 1, which has 12 slip stitches and 77 half double crochet stitches. For row 2, we're not going to do a turning chain, we're just going to insert a half double crochet into the very first stitch, like so. And once again, we're going to use stitch markers to mark the beginning, the first stitch of that row. And now we're at the end of row 2, and we're going to insert our final half double crochet stitch at the end of row 2, like so. Turn our work, and now we're just going to go back to our slip stitches. So we're just going to keep alternating between row 1 and row 2 for the next 58 rows. So in total, we'll have 60 rows. We're at the end of our 60th row. I'm inserting my final half double crochet stitch of that 60th row. And now I am going to cut the yarn and fasten off. And this is what our back panel looks like once it's completed. Next step is to work on the first front panel. So we're going to start with the slip knot as always. And we're going to repeat what we did with the back panel because remember we're working this cardigan in the length. So the length of the front panel is going to be 90 chains, just as the length of the back panel. So we're going to chain 90 and I will see you at the end. Okay, so for row 1, we're going to do 12 slip stitches, just as we did with the back panel. And so I'm inserting my stitch marker after that first slip stitch. I'm going to do 11 more slip stitches in the back bump of the foundation chain. So we're only working in the back bumps for the foundation of the foundation chains for row 1. And similar to the back panel, we're working on the 12 slip stitches because that's going to give us 3 inches of ribbing. So Now we have our 3 inches of ribbing, which gives us 12 slip stitches. We're going to mark that 12 slip stitch with a stitch marker, and then we're going to continue along the row with 77 half double crochets. So again, we're repeating what we did for the back panel for the first and second front panel, but right now we're working on the first front panel. Okay, so we've completed row 1, and this is what our row looks like. So remember, 12 slip stitches and 77 half double crochet stitches. We're going to turn our work. Remember, no turning chain. Instead, we're going to insert our first half double crochet stitch in the very first stitch from the row below, and we're going to continue what we did with the back panel. So after row 2, we're going to alternate between row 1 and row 2 for the next 24 rows. So remember, for row 2, we're just doing 89 half double crochet stitches, and row 3 we'll do 12 slip stitches and 77. We'll just keep doing that until the end of the front panel. So here's the first front panel completed. We have a total of 26 rows, and now we're going to cut our yarn and fasten off. Note that the front panels are 26 rows, and we got the 22 rows by dividing the back panel into 2 and deducting about 3 to 4 inches for the neck hole. And that's how we got to 26 rows for the front panel. And now we're going to repeat this process for our second front panel. Okay, so now that both our front panels are completed, we're going to place them on top of the back panel. And so this is our back panel, which we constructed first. And now we're going to place our 2 front panels on top of the back panel. And we are working these panels inside out. So your right side is going to be facing up and your wrong sides are going to be facing up for the front panel. And now we're going to prepare to join our panels at the shoulders. Now that we're ready to join the front panel to the back panel, we're going to do that using the whip stitch method. So we're just going to insert some yarn into our darning needle and just simply insert your darning needle into the stitches that you've completed, and just keep doing this until you reach the end of the joining. Now that we've joined our panels, we can now begin working on the sleeves. And so we're going to start with a slip knot, and for our sleeves we're going to chain 59. Again, we're working in the length. So this is the length of our sleeve. 59 chains constitute that length. Now that our foundation chain is complete, we're going to start row 1. Row 1 is going to be one of 42 rows, and we're going to start with no turning chain, 12 slip stitches, followed by 46 half double crochets in the back loop only. So we're repeating what we did for the previous panels. The difference here is that our rows are going to be a different number. So here we'll have a total of 42 rows. And for our stitches, we'll have a total of 58 stitches, 12 slip stitches for row 1 and 46 half double crochets for row 1. So we've just completed our ribbing part, which is our 12 slip stitches. And now we're going to work on our 46 half double crochets in the back loop only. And we're going to keep doing this for 42 rows, alternating between 1 and 2. And here we are now at the end of our 42nd row of our first sleeve. Our first sleeve is now complete. We're going to cut our yarn and proceed to fasten off. And again, for our sleeves, we have a total of 42 rows. And what we're going to do is we're just going to repeat this process for the second sleeve. So exactly what we did for this sleeve, we're going to do it again for the second sleeve. So see you at the end. Here's what we have so far with our constructed cardigan. We have completed the back panel, the 2 front panels, and both sleeves. And now we're preparing to join our sleeves to the main body of the cardigan. And to do that, we're just going to place our sleeves perpendicular to our front panel and back panel, and we're just going to whip stitch across. And what I'm doing now is I'm using the mattress stitch, I believe this is called, and we're just going to keep doing this all the way down, and we're going to do this for both sleeves. Okay, so our sleeves are joined, and now what I am doing is I am weaving in my ends. And so these are the ends from the joining of the sleeves to the front and back panel. Okay, now that our sleeves have been joined, we are now going to join the sides of our cardigan, starting from the sleeves, working our way down the length of the cardigan. And so making sure that they're lined up correctly, starting from the sleeve, go through the underarm and working our way down. And this time we're going to join using slip stitches. So we're not going to use a darning needle and weaving in, we're going to use slip stitch instead. And how I'm using the slip stitch method is I'm just inserting my hook underneath the back loop of one stitch and the front loop of the stitch behind it, and I'm just joining that way, and I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down the length of the sleeve and the length of the sides of the cardigan, and I'm going to do this for both sides. Here we are with our sides completely joined using the slip stitch method, and our cardigan is still inside out. And now here we are with our final product. We have not turned this right side out yet. I just want to show you what it looks like inside out. Here's our sleeve, our front panels, and the other sleeve. And now we're going to turn our cardigan right side out now that it is completed. Now, I do not have a border around the neckline. That is optional. You are more than welcome to do so. You would just insert single crochet or half double crochet stitches all along the borders. I did not do this for this cardigan. I may do this later on to add, one more final touch to it. But for now, this is what the cardigan looks like now that it is completed. I hope you found this video tutorial useful. This was a very simple cardigan, but if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much and happy crocheting. Bye.